Good evening, everybody. So, as part of my daily content challenge for March, I was working on a video tonight, but it's not going to be ready until tomorrow morning. So, I'm going to give a little preview of what we're going to talk about in that video, and we're going to look at a few other things while we're here. This is likely going to be a very short, maybe 20-30 minute video. So, no Joe approved units for this one, but nonetheless, I wanted to get something out tonight and meet the parameters of my challenge. So, let's jump over to the browser. Okay, the software we're going to look at in tomorrow morning's video is called OptiSigns. And this is a digital signage software that runs on not only Linux, but other platforms as well. And the nice thing about this is that you don't need a Raspberry Pi to run it. You can grab one of those inexpensive computers off from Amazon and get a turnkey system up and running quickly. Joe, you're still up. Welcome to the fun. So OptiSigns is not free software, but it's not going to break the bank either. So if you pay yearly, per sign, you're looking at $108. In addition to the cost of the hardware you need to run it on and some sort of screen. Again, not the end of the world on pricing, but I know my audience likes free options as well, so we will be looking at some of those in the future. But this one is rather unique because you have options for Windows, Linux, Mac OS, Android, Fire OS, Raspberry Pi, Apple TV, iOS, Chrome OS, Roku, ARM Linux, LG WebOS Signage, Samsung Smart Signage Platform, Bright Sign, and Samsung Smart TVs. So there's no shortage of places you can run this. Welcome. I'm probably going to butcher your name, Kanai. Kanay. Hopefully I didn't get that too bad. Welcome to the stream. I don't usually go live this late at night, but I'm doing this daily challenge this month, and I needed to get something out before the end of the day. So I'm trying to make it work. So, but yeah, OptiSigns is pretty slick. I actually installed it in a virtual machine for testing purposes and to make the video that will be out in the morning. There are, of course, they have use cases listed for this. Media network company being one of them, which is a kind of an interesting thought. Again, pricing $10 a month per sign or $108 yearly for the standard edition. But they've got apps or widgets or whatever you want to call them available for this. And some of these are quite interesting, and I don't think I've seen all of these available on some of the other software I've looked at. So local folder is an interesting option, but looking at the different social counters, it unfortunately does not look like it has a YouTube integration, but I'm sure that could be made to work as well. So there's a YouTube live schedule, Facebook live stream, RTSP stream. That could be interesting. That could be very interesting. And stock indexes, lots and lots of things, emergency messages. So there's no shortage of things you could do with this particular signage software. They do have their own pre-configured Android stick player for $79.99. And it talks about pre-configuration, so that's all good. So that's OptiSigns. You'll see more about it in the video that comes out tomorrow morning. Let's see. Terrell, welcome. Yeah, I'm a glutton for punishment, trying to do this daily content challenge in the month of March. Thankfully, it's almost over. But yeah, my video wasn't going to be optimized for YouTube for 40 minutes, so I improvised. Okay, well, I took a guess, and my first guess was correct, so great. What do you think about GPT-4? I have not played with GPT-4 yet, but some of the things I've read about it are interesting, to say the least. So the next option is Linux digital signage. And again, this is going to be one that is distributed like OptiSigns. If you want to run it on an existing installation of Linux, it runs as an app image, which is nice because then it can run on any graphical Linux distribution. And similarly, it gives you a code and you sync it into their management software on their website. Now, pricing on this one is quite a bit more. You're looking at $18 a month. So again, depending on what your use case is and what your budget is for a project, this may suit you. However, there are cheaper options available and free options available. So one of the player models I found on Amazon is this Zogo mini digital signage player, which they don't give you a good picture of this, but their little video here shows a custom case, but looking at the ports on this thing, I am 99% sure this is a Raspberry Pi, which are hard to get these days. So I don't know much about Zogo. We can look at their website here. Click here to check out the new beta version of Zogo Manager for web browsers. Okay, so install our free Manager app on your computer or tablet. So this gives you a few different options, and maybe not as feature packed as OptiSigns, but it is an interesting product. So they do have a free plan, but you get a maximum of 15 items in the library. So again, if you are on a budget, this might be perfect. You buy the hardware, you might reuse an old TV, and that's all you might need to get started. And if you can work around that 15 item limit for the library, you might be all set. Especially if you have a project that is something that's going to be temporary, then you likely don't want a paid option. So, worth a look. But not necessarily the right option for everybody. They do have other player options available. So the Fire Stick. There's it looks like an Android device, a professional grade Android device, they call it. Bright Sign, which is going to be more of a commercial type device, a little more industrial in the build. There's a Chrome box, another Android device, and you've got a mini PC, which you could really roll your own for much less than that, for $325. And the Lenovo Tiny for video walls. At $1,700, you could certainly roll your own for cheaper than that. So it also works with smart TV hardware and tablets. So there are options available. Only the 8 gig Pi is hard to find. Depends on where you're at. I tried looking for Pi boards earlier today, and nothing was available from, I think it was Pi Shop here in the U.S. It was pretty barren. Hi, Bob. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so another option for Linux is called Signage OS. And this one comes in quite a bit cheaper, where you've got an option for $1.50 per device per month. And even the premium platform is only $6 per device per month. So, this could be a good solution. Connect your solution to digital signs hassle-free. So, again, an option to roll your own, bring your own hardware, and it's even got ELO, which is some pretty high-end commercial screens. They're not TVs, but they're signage screens typically. Bright Sign is one I've seen mentioned several places, as well as some of these Samsung Smart options and other things here. So, again, there are lots of options these days. Can you tell that I'm a little bit of a digital signage junkie? So what I'm actually looking for is I want at least a 4 gig compute module 4. Because I've got some Pis already, but I'm really looking to get into the compute modules, because every the biggest complaint I've seen about Raspberry Pis is that they're not production ready, and the compute modules and the carrier boards solve that issue. You're not powering it over USB. You're not reliant on a number of things that come with the single board option. But I think it was Pi, it's one of the US distributors. Pi Shop. When I looked at this earlier today, every single option is out of stock. You can get the carrier boards, but the compute module 4s are nowhere to be found. And I've watched the Raspberry Pi tracker website, Pi locator, and as soon as I turn this to US distributors, if it even wants to load tonight, everything shows me as out of stock. The micro SD storage on them has been the number one point of failure for me on Pis. Now there are definitely better options. Yeah, absolutely. With the carrier boards, you can put an NVMe SSD on it. But at the price point, you would be hard pressed to find a. That's not what I want. $33.50. You'd be hard pressed to find one cheaper than what you could get for one of these cheapy computers on Amazon. For $89 or $83.99, you can get this BMax B1 Plus, and I'm sure there are some cheaper options out there. PiLocator.com is not currently loading, but yeah, with these compute modules, the carrier boards, many of them have, I think it was this one, have an option for NVMe. There's one that had an NVMe slot on the back side of the board. So, you know, it's like, okay, well, they've addressed, with the compute module, they've addressed the issue of storage. And now it's just getting the Pis available again so you can get your hands on them. So, Joe, I've got some regular Pis. I'm looking specifically for this compute module. I've been eyeing these since they were launched, and then, you know, the dark times happened and nothing's available. So Optiplexes are a great alternative to Pi. Yes, absolutely. Docker on an old tiny from eBay for like $100, pretty good for stuff like that in the interim. Yes. Yep. I've got a number of Optiplex machines and have been looking at the thanks to Serve the Home, I've been looking at that tiny mini micro series they've got, and some of those 1 liter PCs they talk about are quite attractive price wise if you find the right deal. I've not looked at the Orange Pi, but as long as it would run the image, and I think some of these are only available in app image, and some of them are only for AMD 64 processors, so Intel or AMD current generation stuff. I'll just rip out the CPU and send it to you. Bob got me to buy a couple Lenovo Tinies. They're very cool. Yeah, I'm very interested in getting my hands on at least one of those here at some point. But that's a purchase for another day. All right, so where were we at? So Signage OS was an option. Zebo is another one that's claiming to be open source, but they have some pricing available under $5 a month. If we go annual, $58.80 a year. And again, their software being open source, use their content management system, but you can run this on Docker and native player for Linux, C++, and GTK. So kind of interesting, the things that are available now. When I first started looking at digital signage a number of years ago, and I should say digital signage on the cheap, Screenly was really the only option that I was able to find at the time, and that was before the Pi shortage. So there are a number of options, and I may start looking at a few of these, especially if they've got free trials. There's Rise Vision. They've got a Linux-based, looks like an Intel NUC or something very similar. So they've got a player. Their pricing is, in line with some of the others, $10.50 per display per month, and it looks like annual pricing doesn't change anything, which is interesting. But yeah, I'm a little disappointed Pi Locator is not loading tonight. But that's what I had available or in mind for tonight's stream. Let's see. What do we have? I got them used on eBay for a great deal. Awesome. When you want one that has a PCIe slot, talk to me first. I'll help you get one of the right tiny modules. Awesome. Thank you, Bob. How is your new water bottle? Well, interesting you should mention that. I'm almost done with the, I think this is the second time I filled this today. So not quite as good as yesterday. Still trying to get the flavor profile right, and not have to go through one of the flavor modules a day. But so far, so good. I've not had any pop since Friday, and I haven't gone on a tri-state. Well, I won't say that. Not given what happened yesterday. Anyways, so I thought that was a knock. Can you pull it up online? So the water bottle. I'm pretty sure that's the one. drinkcircle.com, and see if I don't know if there's a referral code that I can give you or not. So let's jump back over here. So let me explore this for just a minute. And here we go. Referral program. There you go. Get out your phone and scan that QR code. And actually, let me copy that link. There you go. So the one I got was, I think this is the 32 ounce bottle. I got the blue one, so this is the one I've got. Shatterproof, BPA free, hydration magic, blah 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 blah. So you've got to pay the cost of the bottle, and then you've got to go and order their flavors to go in this. They've got some limited edition ones generally. Berry lemonade is one of their new ones. But they've got different types. So some of them are vitamin infused, some of them are electrolyte infused, and they've got some pretty decent flavors. I haven't been disappointed with any of them so far. This is the second flavor I've gone through. They're $3.75 each. They do run some specials from time to time. I've seen specials before I bought mine, but mixed berry is one I've tried. That's pretty good. And then I got one of the lemonade flavors. But they've got cherry limeade and blackberry and green apple and all kinds of things that you can choose from. They've got teas if you're a tea drinker. Not sure what frosted is. I don't think I ordered any of those when I got the initial package. A sweet kick of confidence. This is iced coffee. So caramel, vanilla, and mocha. I haven't tried any of the coffee ones yet. Fission. I think I may have ordered one of these, but I have not tried it yet. I've got some different flavors there. ET is the lemon lime. So they've got Flight, Squeeze, and I think Pure Essence is one of the ones I ordered. I might have ordered out of this category. Might have been the lemon that I got out of this. Raspberry. Some of these are unsweetened. So, but yeah, there are some nice options here. And I mainly went with the plastic bottle because I didn't know how well I would like it. But they've got different options for bottles as well. So, you know, it's kind of cool. I didn't order the starter kit. I kind of made my own just from their ordering options. And you know, now that I've had this for a while and I know that I'm getting use out of it, I would consider down the road grabbing one of their stainless steel bottles just for some more insulation to keep the water colder longer. Keeps water ice cold for up to 8 hours. So just something to consider there. But like I said, I wasn't sure how I'd like it, so I ordered the plastic bottle to start with. So the flavor actually goes in the top here, and it has the I don't know if you can see that, but that's what you drink out of. So my only thought after buying it is that I wish they had a recycling program for these flavor capsules, but I guess I can't save the world all by myself, right? So anyway, that's a little bit of what's been going on here. I see they do have a custom option. So I don't know if you can, what you can do to customize it. Oh, this is interesting. So the capsules last for, depending on the flavor profile, because it's got a dial on the capsule, so you can control how much flavor is going in the water as you're drinking it. I've been trying to keep myself at a 3 or a 4. But you can go 1 to 9. Actually, you can turn off the flavor completely. So you're just getting water. But then you can dial it up to 9. Of course, if you dial it all the way up, you're going to go through the capsules faster. So I've been trying to find the sweet spot, and yeah, Clip art and images. So I could technically upload my logo and put on here, which I think is what Joe is getting at. I might just have to consider doing that and using it when I'm live to get that extra little bit of promotion in, right? Yeah, the capsule lasts a while. Of course, it's all going to depend on how much water you're drinking. I can get through about 2 of these 32-ounce bottles, 2 to 2.5 in a day. And again, I'm finding that the capsules are lasting me about a day to a day and a half, which, I guess in the grand scheme of things, if you consider what I was spending at the height of my pop addiction, that's not awful. Again, my only real complaint is that there's not a recycling program for the capsules. So, but they don't give you good recycling options for water bottles that bottled water that you buy in the store either. I will only buy one if your logo is on it. Well, I may have to consult with Ashley before I do that. So, but yeah, this could be a thing. So, anyways, I suppose I should mention. I probably should have mentioned this earlier. I am not sponsored in any way, shape, or form by Circle. I just like their product. So if they want to sponsor me, I'm not going to turn it down, but this video is not sponsored. Your logo is a half circle. Ha 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 ha. All right, so I think that's everything for tonight. I don't want to stay up too late because I've still got to get up and pump out the midweek news for tomorrow morning. Or it might come out early afternoon. The full-length video is scheduled for 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. So any of you hanging out in other places will find it available by the time you get up. Ezra is in the house. Hey, man. Glad you could stop in. All right. Before I go, are there any questions, comments? I think the circle's a hit so far. But yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious to maybe do a custom bottle now that I know that's an option. And, that I've got a backup. So I'll just have to figure out which of the options for the stainless steel bottle are going to be best to put my logo on. So that's the one part that remains to be seen. Since the logo's got black in it, black is not going to be an option. Orange or green might be, but like I said, I'll consult with Ashley before I do this, because I'm not a designer and I want something that doesn't really clash horribly color-wise. So I'll consult an expert before I pull the trigger on this one. Do you have the EQ switch flat or boosted on your SM7B? The low end is flat, the high end is boosted. Is that something I should consider changing? Oh, and Ashley's popped in. Designing right now. Wow. Your ears must have been ringing because I was talking about you. Thanks for dropping in, Ashley. So, yeah. Like I said, as of this morning, I had dropped 3 pounds since Friday when I cut Pop out. And I'm still relatively sane. I tire a little easier, but once I can actually have a day where I can get out and start walking a little bit, I think things will level out a bit. I'm hoping, and thankfully the weather's getting warmer. I think it was almost 50 here today, so it's getting closer. So we'll see what happens. I'm not holding my breath that I'll be able to maintain this 3 pound in 4 days type of thing, but if I can take off a few by cutting out Pop, I'm going to go for it. And my thought is, once I get to a point where I'm drinking water on a regular basis, then I might consider allowing myself 1 Pop a week, or soda, if that makes you feel better. In Michigan, it's always been Pop to me, but let's see. Just curious, I had to buy 2 of those mics for a podcast event. Nice. The stainless looks awesome. Yeah, I'm kind of excited about potentially going down that road, and I think if I get a stainless one, it's going to be one with my logo on it. So I'll spend an extra few dollars and customize it like that. Downwards is great no matter how much or little. Check signal. Okay. So the mic is feeding into my Behringer. Am I not coming through clear, or what do you want me to check? It's late. My brain's not firing on all cylinders at this point. So, oh, gotcha. Oh, there's a video. Well, ooh, I like that. I do like that. Okay. Yeah, I'm not in Signal every day, so it's not the first thing that comes to my mind when I hear Signal. I guess I'm showing my age by saying that. Yep, you got it, Bob. The phone app, not the audio Signal. I've been into alkaline water lately. Interesting. I've not really gone down that road yet, but the biggest thing for me to start was breaking the Pop addiction. I still blame in some part for that addiction. My best friend growing up, his father worked for Pepsi, so we were the guinea pigs, and I think both of us have struggled with weight issues on and off. So I'm just looking to make some improvements because I'm not getting any younger, and you know, before I have to start thinking about knee replacements in 20 years or whatever, if I'm around that long, you know, probably a good thing to take off a few pounds. So the white looks cool too. I will definitely take a look at those. So, all right. Well, what else do we have to talk to? Should I go for the full JAU this evening? I mean, I guess I'm kind of on a roll at this point, but um, I guess I could give you a sneak preview. Um, the um, so this is Opti Signs running in a VM, and don't worry, the video coming out in the morning goes through the setup. So I'm not going to go through that whole process here tonight, but this is pretty cool. You can set the duration of the how long the image stays up on screen, and yeah, it's kind of slick. Pull up the link Joe sent you. It's the design from the website, I think. All right. Yeah, it was. I will have to see what I can do here real quick. So you'll have to look at me for a moment. Um, oh, that didn't work. Okay, so let's see. If we do this, save. Okay, save that to media, and we can do this. Let's see, Nextcloud. Upload files. Well, let's see, storage, internal storage. Yeah. Well, that's not going quite the way I expected. So, oh well. I'm not gonna drive myself nuts with this. I used to drink a 12 pack of soda or more a day as a kid. Y2K, I decided to see how far I could go. Pretty much none unless it's in a mixed drink or as a chaser. But really, water's life. Love it. Yep. That's kind of the mentality I'm trying to embrace here. Um, I did 2 weeks drinking the Coke Zero sugar. And after 2 weeks of that, I thought, let's just see how much further I can push this. So, um, yeah. But we'll see what we can do here. This so one thing I don't like about phones is when you save something, it just tells you media, and it doesn't give you an easy way to get back there. So, all right. We are 51 minutes in. Diet Coke addict. I never really got. I don't know. If I had to drink a diet pop, Diet Coke, I did it for a while, but the aftertaste always got me. And maybe that's just from all my time as a kid drinking Pepsi products. So the Diet Coke has an aftertaste, but Diet Pepsi is worse. Let's see. Make me a mod and I'll post in chat. Okay. I don't think I can make you a mod from StreamYard. So let me jump over to YouTube Studio and see what we can do here. Oh, let's see. Settings. Permissions. Invite. Access. Let's see. The aftertaste is what is addicting. Right. So let me take a look here real quick. Mute tab. I can make this work. There we go. Add as moderator. Okay. You should have moderator access now. So man, it's distracting having myself up in the other monitor. All right. So hopefully that will let you post the link there, Joe. So yeah, we tried. We tried to see. Well, let me copy. Reopen close tab. Okay. one of the downsides of StreamYard is it doesn't let you copy the text out of the chat. So, yeah, I had to open up a window with on the YouTube stream. I like that. There we go. That is pretty slick. There we go. I'm all right with that. Yeah, it's late. I had to be at work early. Um, like I said, my brain's not firing on all cylinders at this point. But yeah, I'm really close to just ordering one of these tonight. So, oh my. Um, Make that a little bit larger. Yeah, that would look kind of cool for the live streams to have that instead of the clear bottle. But I'll get there. Under variation, you can change the water, the bottle color to white also. Ooh, check that out. Very cool. Very cool. And the white. Yeah, I'll have to flip a coin on that one. I like them both. But at $40 a pop, I'm not going to buy both. At least not at the same time. But yeah, cool stuff. Cool stuff. I can definitely do a one-off on these. But yeah, that'd be pretty cool to do something like that. Not to toot my horn or anything. Your logo is one of my favorite creations. Yeah, the minute I saw it, I thought it was perfect. You know, it just it reminded me of there used to be a company called Egghead Software, and it just made me flash back to their logo from way back. I don't even know if. So yeah, it was literally an egg, and my logo just reminds me of like the top half without the hair. So I've definitely liked that logo a lot. So we're almost at 1 JAU. I do believe so. $40 is what? 5 12 packs of Pepsi? Yeah, probably. Probably. Um, how much is pop soda in cans these days in the U.S.? The pricing is ridiculous. Yeah, it's I don't generally buy it in cans. I've been normally buying 2 liters and going through 2 or 3 of those a week. But even those are, getting to the almost a 250 mark for a 2 liter, and it's like, yeah, I'm kind of over it. I'm kind of over it. Egghead, wow. Yeah. Um, we're laughing at Egghead software. Well, apparently I have that effect on the two of you. Um, somehow I always make the two of you laugh during a live stream. Kind of reminds me of Dilbert. You can't say leader. Those aren't freedom units. Willie will be up at arms. Oh my. Yeah, I know. Willie and his freedom units. Oh boy. All right, we've officially made it. We're at a Joe approved unit plus 1 minute and 5 seconds. I was thinking Dilbert too. Okay. Yeah, kinda. I'm still laughing about the oatmeal on your head. You should tell Bob this story real quick. All right, so one of the most unique dates I went on, and it was a first date. I went out with a woman. She owned a hearse, and we went to a zombie walk. And she was really into this kind of thing. And so she insisted on, putting white makeup on my face. So, trying to make me look dead and whatever. And then she made up some sort of a concoction of oatmeal and latex and used it on my head to make it look like brains. So, yeah, that was probably the most interesting. Hey, yeah, Dogbert. Probably the most interesting first date I've ever been on. But I'm not sure how you top that one. I didn't have to drive, and it was just very, very interesting. That's brains. You rode in the hearse? Yep, I did, in the front seat. I've driven a hearse before. I think I've mentioned before that my father owns 2 funeral homes, and so I many times drove a hearse. Uh, and one time I had to drive the hearse with a companion, shall we say, up from the south side of town to the north side of town to a cemetery. And wouldn't you know it, the song that came on the radio was Jimi Hendrix Crosstown Traffic. So but yeah, it was there were some good times driving hearses around. They don't get great gas mileage though. I have to let you in a little secret there. They don't get great gas mileage. Even the newer ones don't get great gas mileage. But I was driving the hearse back home one day, and one of the hearses my dad had over the years, and this was, I don't know, probably a late 70s to mid 80s model, if I had to guess off the top of my head. And I was driving it back, and the power steering belt broke. And yes, it was a belt. It wasn't one of those thin, wide belts that we have now. But trying to make turns in a hearse with no power steering is easier said than done, shall we say. My friend owns a hearse who was born on Halloween. I pick up chicks in this thing. Probably not a great pickup line. Um, was the companion breathing? No. The companion was very horizontal. In a box, no less. Ever take the hearse to a drive-in movie? No, but there are no drive-in movie places around here anymore. That becomes power steering by Armstrong, pretty much. Until you're going at least 30 miles an hour, it's tough. No power steering, that's a killer. Oh my. Now we're all getting silly after an hour and 6 minutes, so it's not just me. So I guess this is a good place to cut it off for the night. Thank you all for coming in. I had not expected people to show up tonight because I decided to do this at such a late time. But hey, it's all good. I met the core the quota for a video each day, with one cheat in there. One day I only released a short, but I'm still going to count it. Horizontal. Hey babe, want to come back to my car and fool around? I drive a hearse. Well, I have to ask, how is this any different than those vans that were so popular in the 70s? Not that I really noticed in the 70s, but watching old stuff, old movies and TV shows from the 70s, that was like a thing, or here we go. That 70s show, Michael Kelso had that van that he was always making out with Jackie in. Hearses just don't have the roof as high as a van, but I blame it on the circle. There's something in the water. Plenty of tissues of the hearse. Oh my. Shaggin' wagon. There you go. Well, so we got a hearse sitting out in the garage behind the building I'm in now, and it's like a 1968 or 69 Cadillac hearse, but it's got this huge. It's like a 500 cubic inch engine in it, and you literally don't pass a gas station with that thing. But my thought was always, if I'd had the money to do it, that I was going to open a mobile disc jockey or mobile DJ service and be able to take the hearse out. And the way the table works in the back of the hearse, you normally see them slide out the back. But this particular hearse, it would slide out either side. So depending on, which side the grave was on, you could have easier access, right? But my thought was always, load it down with audio equipment, hang the speakers over the doors, because the second set of doors, they were suicide doors. At least on this old hearse they were. And, you get a bracket, hang the speaker over, and you're ready to rock. But that never came to fruition, and I ended up going into IT instead, and it is what it is. 69 hearse, DJ Death. 69ers. Yeah, you guys are laughing again, aren't you? Because you've got dirty minds. Um, hey, Luke. Thanks for stopping in. We're getting ready to wrap up now, but we've been having a laugh fest for the last 10 minutes, probably. Um, Suicide doors out of hearse. Well, I mean that's what they were called, you know. Where's Exhibit with Pimp My Hearse? Very nice. DJ Death. So, all right, one last thing, and I will close this out. I promise, because we're already a Joe approved unit plus 11 minutes. Um, you might be surprised to know that there are hearse clubs around. Um, Here's one in southeast Michigan. Um, and they have parades with hearses and event pictures. Doesn't look like they've been terribly active lately since 13, but just for the sake of argument, oh, not found. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. California Hearse Club. Raven Mortem Hearse Club, Fresno, California. We have pictures, photos. Here we go. There you go. There's a hearse for you. Wonder how much work they had to do on that thing. Ghostbusters. That's probably 90s, if I had to guess. And then you've got the Euro style with all the glass in back. Mercedes Benz. Got the goth thing going on. Rather cliche, but that's kind of cool. Probably 1930s, I'd guess. Maybe. Har. It's a Jaguar hearse. What else we got? All right, that's interesting. Very interesting. And who you can't talk about hearses without Elvira. Let's see. What else? These old ones are really kind of cool with the carved wood inlays in the back. But anyway, yeah. There's actually a hearse done up as a Ghostbusters car around probably within 30 miles of where I'm at somewhere. I've definitely seen it driving around before. But yeah, it's a thing. There are hearses that they've taken and they've jacked them up like a what I would call a redneck pickup truck, and put fat tires on them and the whole 9 yards. But you know, it's all in good fun, I suppose, right? But anyways, whoever thought those colors were a good idea? Well, that's because that's not a hearse, that's an ambulance. But the only thing that was different between hearses and ambulances in that day was the paint job. So, um, let's see. I will come to Michigan and do a collab with that hearse. um, they're still called that, suicide doors. If you open them when you're moving, it's suicide. Right. One last thing. Yeah, the site's dead, pretty much. Has anyone heard any news about Pop! OS release date? I have not, Luke. I have been very curious on that myself. I actually switched my uh, ThinkPad, my used ThinkPad eBay find from Pop! OS. It's now running Ubuntu 2304 daily release. It's not even in beta. Maybe it's beta. Anyways, it's running 2304. It's a pre-release version. The Hearst Club. People are dying to get in. Ashley says, it looks like a death trap. Yup. Did it ever get weird to be around dead people? There were some incidents that I would prefer not to share. Yeah. Yeah. No, none of them ever woke up. At some point, it's just another day at work. Pretty much. I guess every day is dead at work day. Yep. You got it. You got it. Yeah. Let's see. What story can I tell that's not too awful, or I guess I can leave out some details. So I went out with my dad to make a removal, right? And this person had been deceased for a few days before he was found. And so we did what we needed to do. We got him loaded on the stretcher, and we were headed out. And this particular place we had gone to, it was on a in an apartment several stories up. So we're coming down the elevator. It's my dad and I and the stretcher, and I think there was a cop in there with us. And we stop a few floors down, and you've got to understand my dad's, some people would call it sick sense of humor. But we stop partway down, and the doors open, and my dad says, "We've got room for one more." And the guy says, "Oh no, that's all right. I'll wait." So, yeah, that's one of them that I guess I could share without too much repercussions. That's been quite a number of years ago. Guess the other story. This is what's hilarious. So we went to pick somebody up. They'd passed at their home, and there wasn't easy access from the street. And so we had gone around to the back of the house, and the son was there of this person, and he instructed us to just go around the block and jump the curb and pull up right on the front lawn. And so we're taking the stretcher out of the house to load in the hearse, and here comes this guy that's quite obviously, shall we say, on something. Um, and he's walking down the sidewalk, and out of his mouth comes effing hearse, effing dead bodies, effing white people. And then the son of the deceased comes out on the front porch and says, "Get the F out of here." So, anyways, there's been a few funny funny moments in the years that I helped in the family business, I guess you could say. And I'll save some of the other stories for another day, but can't give out all the secrets in one night. Oh yeah, I suppose I should ask for super chats to see to hear the stories. Oh well. Accounting in funeral homes is very weird. The accounts only ever opened and used once. Yeah, exactly what I would say. Now serving number two. Ever drop a dead body? No, I didn't. I did go out on a removal with a colleague of my father's. Thank you, Joe, for the super chat. I did go out with a colleague of my father's who had been retired to pick up a friend of this man's, and this man was my dad's colleague was in his early 80s at the time, and when you're of that age, you don't have the upper body strength you once had, shall we say? And unfortunately, this person decided, or because he didn't have the upper body strength, he ended up dropping the man's head on the tile bathroom floor a couple of times. That's the closest I've got to dropping somebody. Uh, and if only I had taken the head end, but I was not in control in that situation, and I did rat the guy out though, and I suggested to my father that he was not fit to go on removals anymore. The colleague of my dad's was not fit, and I don't think he went on any more removals after that. All right, since we had the super chat, I'll give you one more, and then I got to close this out because I got to get some sleep. So another colleague of my father's, and this has been probably more than 20 years ago at this time, called my dad up and asked to borrow me, because he had had hip surgery and had just been given the green light to start driving again, and didn't feel comfortable making this particular trip on his own. So I met up with him at his establishment, shall we say. We jump in the car. He had a minivan, so it was nondescript, shall we say, right? So we jump in this minivan and we head from Michigan down into Indiana. And I'm driving the first leg of the trip, which is fine. So we get down there, and the owner of this other funeral home knew we were coming, right? So we get there, and I was instructed to go check the door and see if there was anybody inside because it looked from the parking lot, the back parking lot, like it was all dark. And so I went up to the back door, I checked the door handle, and it was unlocked. Well, apparently there was a silent alarm. So imagine this funeral home with a circle drive or a half circle drive around it, right? So you've got the funeral home in the middle and the half circle drive. And so when I didn't get anybody to come to the door, when I walked in 2 steps, I went back to the van and sat down. About 5 minutes later, we had 2 cops, one coming in from each side of the half circle drive. And they proceeded to ask us what our business was there. And my dad's colleague explained that we were there on business. The owner was expecting us and, showed him a business card. And so one of the cops left. The other one stuck around until the owner arrived. And it was all in good. The owner sent the cop on his way, answered whatever questions, and we got loaded up. So we start back from Michigan. I'm still driving, and at this time it's getting late. I'm getting tired, having driven the whole way down and probably a third to a half of the way back. And so I was told, just pull over, we'll switch spots, and he'll drive the rest of the way back. Thought, okay. And let me remind you one more time, this was the first time he had been driving since being given the okay from the doctor. So we start down the road, and I noticed that he's weaving over the line on the side of the road a little bit. And this goes on for a few minutes, and we get pulled over. So not one, but 2 run-ins with cops in one night. So we get pulled off. Here comes a police officer shining his little flashlight. Thankfully, my dad's colleague was the one driving because he's the one that had credentials and all this kind of stuff. So, the cop asks him a few questions and, what we're doing out and blah, blah, blah. And hands him my dad's colleague hands him a business card and his driver's license and all that, and explains about the hip surgery and whatnot. And we were let off with a warning and told to just be careful getting home. So that's probably the most cops I've encountered in one night. And I hope I never encountered that many cops in one night ever again in my life. But, it is what it is, right? Removals, how pleasant. Well, funeral directors' families got to eat too, right? He did just through the side window of the van because he was shining his flashlight as he was coming up on us. So, yeah. Interesting times, and thankfully my dad's retired now, so I don't have to worry about interesting times like that continuing. But it is what it is. I can laugh about them now, and even though I probably could not at the time, maybe I did a little bit, but Sorry, we heard a noise in the back of the car. Would you check it out for us, officer? Yeah, and then when he gets to the back of the van, you yell, "Brains! Brains!" Okay, I have to admit, I may have inherited my father's demented sense of humor. Um, yeah. um, how do you preserve the body? That's a part of it I don't get into. That's the part you have to go to school for, which, since I have an aversion to having other people's bodily fluids or other materials on me, I would not really want to go into that. There's a whole embalming process, and there are plenty of places online you can find out all the information you want, Joe. And no, you don't have to go in through the nose and pull the brains out like the Egyptians did. With little hooks, in fact. All right. I think that's going to do it for tonight. I hope I've been a little bit of entertainment. We've definitely got off topic from digital signage options, but it's all good, I suppose. Um, so it wasn't a refrigerator van. No, it wasn't. I believe the person was already embalmed in Indiana, if I remember correctly. I'm. It's been probably more than 20 years now since this incident happened, and I don't remember all the details, but I remember the incidents with the cops quite distinctly. Um, do I have any other quick ones? Uh, oh, probably the year after I got out of high school. So we're talking early 90s. Um, my brother and I were sent out uh, as agents of my father. A man had been vacationing with his wife in the Upper Peninsula, or the UP as we call it here in Michigan. And they got up one morning and he wanted to go for a walk, but she wasn't feeling well. So he went on a walk without her. He came back to the hotel or motel they were staying in and found her dead on the floor. So my brother and I were put on a twin prop plane and we were sent to the UP to drive this man and his car back down, and they flew his wife back. And so the interesting part of this was not only that was it a long drive, probably five and a half 6 hours from the part of the UP they were in, but we were sent up there on a twin prop plane, and we definitely hit a little bit of turbulence going across the lake. So I'm not a fan of twin prop planes and going over bodies of water, shall we say. And on that note, I think I'm out of stories for tonight at least. I've got a few others up my sleeve, but I'm not going to give them all away tonight. So everybody try to get some sleep, and Joe, good luck with your broadcasting the funeral service in the morning. I'd always kind of wanted to get into that line of business, but since my father's now retired, I don't have an in to do that. So everybody take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good night.